Greetings, everybody. My name is James. I am from the internet, and today we are going to be talking about gas. Now, I'm not talking about gas, you know, like when you're done having Christmas dinner and your grandpa looks at you and he's rubbing his belly. He's like, "Oh, that was so good. Here, pull my finger." No, not pull my finger gas. Gas, fuel, petrol, go-go juice for cars, that sort of thing. Yeah. So I don't know if you heard or not, but apparently there's a little run on gasoline out there. We had a little bit of a pipeline problem, a little bit of a distribution problem, and now we're going to have a supply chain problem. So before y'all spend too much time hearing half-baked tales about how it's Iran's fault or it's Joe Biden's fault or it's the communists' fault, I thought we would take a quick look at what actually happened. And then, of course, the predictable results from the main players in this new drama unfolding, okay? Here we go. So this is the Colonial Pipeline. It travels from Houston all the way up to New Jersey, delivers petrol to lots of major metropolitan areas. Last week, it was hacked, and the operators had to shut the pipeline down for fear that it would get overridden and just start spewing gas and exploding all over the place. It is a standard security measure. Now, since that attack, they have been slowly bringing systems online piece by piece and reviewing what's going on to ensure that there's no extra malicious code lying around from the ransomware attack, which is why they had to shut down in the first place. Meanwhile, as everybody was scratching their heads trying to figure out what happened, the hacker group actually posted their own press release online to take credit for the attack, explain why they did it, and then they apologized. The Darkseid hacker gang that is responsible for the devastating Colonial Pipeline attack over the weekend is a relatively new group, but cybersecurity analysts already know enough about them to determine just how dangerous they are. According to Boston-based Cyber Reason, Darkseid is an organized group of hackers set up along the ransomware as a service business model, meaning the Darkseid hackers develop and market ransomware hacking tools and then sell them to other criminals who then carry out attacks. Think of it as the evil twin of a Silicon Valley startup. I would like to point out that this specific article is on CNBC, the financial arm of NBC Universal, who I'm sure is heavily invested in a number of Silicon Valley tech companies and partners with all of the Silicon Valley social media companies. So for them to paint Silicon Valley as like the League of Justice with Superman and Wonder Woman is, you know, kind of in their best interests, but at least you get the picture. On Monday, Cyber Reason provided CNBC with a news statement from Darkseid's website that appears to address the Colonial Pipeline shutdown. Under a heading, "About the latest news," Darkseid claimed it's not political and only wants to make money without causing problems for society. Quote, "We are apolitical. We do not participate in geopolitics, do not need to tie us in with a defined government, and look for our motives. Our goal is to make money and not creating problems for society. From today, we introduce moderation and check each company that our partners want to encrypt to avoid social consequences in the future." Wow, I'm old enough to remember when the popular right-wing trope on the internet was, "Oh, you can't find a job? Why don't you just learn how to code?" Well, looks like a whole bunch of people learned how to code, so well played there, alt-right on the internet shitbags. Well played. Thanks for encouraging that sort of thing. Cyber Reason reports that Darkseid has a perverse desire to appear ethical, even posting its own code of conduct for its customers, telling them who and what targets are acceptable to attack. Protected organizations not to be harmed includes hospitals, hospices, schools, universities, nonprofit organizations, and government agencies. Also apparently protected are entities based in former Soviet countries. Fair game, then, are all for-profit companies in English-speaking countries. So basically, they're contractors for hire that white Western capitalists hire to do cyber battle with other white Western capitalists. To be fair, that would literally seem like the best way to make the most money. Yay, capitalism! And while we're on the subject of money, now we have to talk about the price of gas and what's going on with the end consumer, meaning me and you. Well, the White House has already had to issue a warning that people shouldn't start hoarding gas because the pipeline is already coming back online and the holes in the distribution chain are only going to last about a week. So this is really only a bump in the road and maybe people shouldn't panic. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said that the areas most impacted by the pipeline closure, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Georgia, and Southern Virginia, would likely experience a supply crunch, but not a gasoline shortage. Whoa! Much as there was no cause for hoarding toilet paper at the beginning of the pandemic, there should be no cause for hoarding gasoline, especially in light of the fact that the pipeline should be substantially operational by the end of this week and over the weekend. Okay, now for the first time, I'm concerned there are going to be gas shortages because they literally pointed to the toilet paper shortages. For those of you who forget, going out to different stores in your neighborhood twice a day was a full-time job for a couple of months there, just so you could find a 4-pack of TP and your family could wipe their ass for a week. That was a thing, and it wasn't all that long ago. So I wonder what would happen if you applied that level of panic to gasoline rather than to toilet paper. Yeah, that's right. Democratic President Joe Biden puts out a press release from the Democratic White House saying, hey, you shouldn't hoard gas. It's only going to be a couple of days. And then Fox News and everybody who hates the Democrats turn around and run 185 panic pieces, in between all the don't get the COVID vaccine panic pieces that they run, telling people, look out, there's going to be gas shortages because Joe Biden and the Democrats are incompetent. And so, of course, all their viewers, a lot of whom I have been led to believe live in the Southeast along the trail of that pipeline, well, they all went out and started panic buying. And you know what happened? They started causing gas shortages. It is literally like Black Friday out there at a Walmart when they're fucking selling $200 televisions. People are queued up. They're getting anything they can to hold fuel, and they're just pumping it. Drill, baby, drill. Pump, baby, pump. So as much as people want to politicize this and make this sound like, oh, there's a gas shortage because Democrats, funny thing, I don't see fucking Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer out at a gas station filling up goddamn Tupperware and throwing it in their trunk to hoard gas. That's not happening. No, these are people from the Panhandle up through the Southeast literally getting as much gas as they can and then throwing their middle finger at the air at everybody else and going, fuck you, the Democrats are why you don't have gas. Look at all these damn Democrats. Look at is that Nancy Pelosi? Oh, no, it's probably not Nancy Pelosi. I think she's still in California. No, but look at it. This is it. The hoarding is on. This is why there is no gas. Most of the supply chain problems have already been solved. The pipeline is coming back on. There are extra fuel trucks that have been granted dispensation to operate during hours in which they normally can't operate, so that they can get more gas in more trucks to more places until the entire pipeline is brought back online sometime in the next 48 hours. But it doesn't matter. If Fox News tells their sycophants that the Democrats are causing a gas shortage and it's going to lead to the end of the world, well, you better bet everybody's going to go run out and buy as much gas as they can. And now, for a quick public service reminder, the majority of plastic bags are made with petroleum. Ergo, they are extremely biocompatible with gasoline that will eat through the plastic bags in a matter of minutes. So I get the hoarding and all, but if you could stop creating safety and health hazards for everybody else who lives within a block of your house, that would be really awesome. The rest of us who aren't hoarding gas in plastic bags appreciate your forbearance in this matter. So just remember, if you're one of those people stuck in one of those lines, it's not the Democrats. They didn't do this to you. Nancy Pelosi didn't do this. Joe Biden didn't do this. The liberal Muslim agenda didn't do this. Your neighbors did this, okay? The people who live right next door to you, who are all concerned with freedom and liberty, are more concerned with their freedom and liberty rather than yours. So if they take all the gas and then you don't have the liberty to drive your car to the beach over the weekend, not the Democrats' fault, it's your shitty neighbors. And last but certainly not least, I want to give a tip of the cap to Florida Governor Ron DeSantis, who has already declared a state of emergency. And again, this emergency isn't the pipeline. This emergency is you. Also, fun side note here. Yeah, when Ron DeSantis activates the National Guard, it means that like 15,000 different National Guardsmen who all live in the Southeast have to get in their car and drive anywhere from dozens to hundreds of miles to go report to their National Guard base, and then they all get into a bunch of Humvees that get 4 miles to the gallon, and they drive those Humvees to gas stations and park them on the corners and sit there just to intimidate you into not getting into fights over the gasoline that you're pouring into plastic bags in your trunk that you're going to go drive back to your neighborhood so you can light the whole goddamn cul-de-sac on fire. But don't worry, Ron DeSantis is going to make one hell of a president. So there you go, everybody. Hopefully you're a little better informed now. You got a little better idea of what happened, what's going to happen, and more importantly, you understand that the true threat, it's not the hackers, it's not the Democrats, it's not the government, it's the people who live next door to you. And not just any people, not all the people, it's just the selfish people. The people who feel that their freedom and their liberty is more important than anybody else's. So to those of you who still actually want to be active participants in society, thank you. I appreciate you for not being out there with the rest of the selfish assholes. Until next time, my name is James. I'm from the internet and I am out. Peace.